Welcome back to the channel Wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever felt like someone in your life just disappeared? One day they're talking to you, laughing with you, replying to your messages instantly. Then suddenly it's silence. No calls, no texts, no explanations, just distance. You start wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I say something offensive? Or maybe they just don't like me anymore? It's confusing. It's frustrating, and it can hurt. But here's the truth. When people start ignoring you out of nowhere, it's rarely about you. It's about them. Maybe they're dealing with something. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe you've outgrown them. Or maybe they were never really there for you in the first place. Whatever the reason, Stoic philosophy teaches us one powerful lesson. Never let someone else's behavior control your emotions. In this video, we'll break down exactly why people suddenly ignore you and what it really means. We'll uncover the real reasons behind this behavior, so you can stop overthinking, stop blaming yourself, and start handling it like a true Stoic. By the end of this video, you'll see these situations with absolute clarity. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to respond with strength, wisdom, and complete emotional control. Let's get started. The psychological and social truth behind being ignored. Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a reply from someone who used to respond right away, only to see nothing? Or maybe you've walked into a room and suddenly the conversation halts. People start looking away, their eyes avoid yours, and it's like you're invisible. It's confusing, right? One minute everything's fine, and the next it feels like people are actively avoiding you. It can leave you wondering, what happened? Why did they stop talking to me? Why am I suddenly being ignored? Well, the truth is, there are a lot of reasons why someone might suddenly start ignoring you, and most of the time it's not about you at all. In fact, the first thing to realize is that people's behavior is often more about them than it is about you. We all go through life changes, challenges, and distractions, and sometimes those things cause us to pull away from others. It might not be personal, it's just life. But here's the kicker. When someone suddenly goes quiet on you, it forces you to question yourself, your worth, and what went wrong. But before you jump to conclusions, ask yourself, have you ever been so caught up in your own life that you unintentionally stopped texting people back? Maybe you've been busy with work, personal problems, or just life in general. It's not that you don't care, but sometimes we just don't have the emotional energy to reach out. And the same thing can happen to others. The person who's ignoring you might just be going through something you don't know about. A stressful period at work, a personal struggle, or just feeling overwhelmed with their own world. But here's where things get tricky. There are also times when people ignore you on purpose, and this is where things get interesting. Some people might use the silent treatment as a way to control the situation. They want to see how you'll react, or maybe they're using silence to create emotional distance. It can feel like a power move, like they're saying, I'll talk to you when I'm ready, or when I feel like it. And when you're on the receiving end of that silence, it can feel like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, you're left wondering, did I say something wrong? Was I too much for them? But here's the thing, the silent treatment is often a game. People who do this want a reaction. They want to see if you'll chase them, if you'll beg for their attention. But guess what? When you understand that this is a game, you can choose not to play. You can choose to remain calm, centered, and unaffected. This is exactly where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics were masters at teaching us how to deal with things outside of our control. You see, one of the core teachings of Stoic philosophy is this: you can't control what other people do, but you can control how you react to it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When someone ignores you, remember, it's not about you. It's about them. Their behavior is a reflection of their own emotions, struggles, or mindset. And it has nothing to do with your worth or value. Instead of feeling hurt or rejected, take a step back and ask yourself, am I being true to my values? Am I acting with integrity? If the answer is yes, then their silence says more about their current situation than it does about you. You are in control of how you respond, And in the Stoic view, you can choose to remain calm, centered, and at peace with yourself. So let's flip the script. Instead of feeling anxious or upset when someone ignores you, use this as an opportunity to practice self-control. Focus on living according to your principles. Remember, relationships will shift. People come and go. But by staying true to yourself and not getting caught up in the emotional game, you protect your inner peace. And that, my friend, is the power of Stoicism. By the end of this, you'll realize that being ignored doesn't define you. It's just part of the ebb and flow of life. And with the Stoic mindset, you'll learn to face it head-on, without losing your calm or your sense of self. The 5 core reasons people ignore you and what it means. 1. You no longer serve their interests. Have you ever had a friend or colleague who seemed to be all about you, until suddenly they started to pull away? It's as though their interest just vanishes overnight. And it feels confusing, right? It can make you question what went wrong, especially when things were fine just a few days ago. Here's the truth. Sometimes people stop paying attention because you no longer serve their interests. Sounds harsh, but it's a reality of human behavior. Relationships, whether personal or professional, can often feel transactional. In other words, people tend to stay close to you when they feel they're getting something from the relationship, whether it's your time, support, or resources. Let's think about a scenario. Imagine you've helped a colleague land a big promotion. You've been supportive, offered advice, and helped them along the way. But the moment they get what they want, poof, they stop calling, they stop reaching out, and you're left wondering if you did something wrong. The truth is, once people get what they want from you, they may not need you as much anymore, and they start to drift away. This isn't necessarily a personal attack. It's just a reflection of human nature. The Stoic response to this kind of situation is simple but powerful. Instead of feeling hurt or betrayed, focus on what's in your control. It's not about them. It's about how you respond. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So, when people start ignoring you because they no longer need you, remember, it's not about you. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone else's interest does. Stay focused on your inner strength, not on external approval. 2. They're testing your reaction. Another reason people might suddenly start ignoring you is because they're testing your reaction. Sometimes people pull away not because they're upset or uninterested, but because they want to see how you'll respond. It's almost like a silent test of your emotional strength. This is particularly common in situations where people may feel like you've become a little too comfortable or taken for granted. They might be trying to see if you'll chase them, beg for attention, or react with frustration. It's a form of emotional manipulation, whether they realize it or not. And here's the thing, they want control. They want to see if you'll fall into the trap of needing their validation. When faced with this situation, the best way to handle it is by maintaining your composure. Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions and not let others dictate how we feel. Instead of reacting impulsively or showing desperation, remain calm and grounded. Think of the classic Stoic idea of not allowing external events to disturb your peace of mind. Epictetus, another key Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, if someone pulls away from you, rather than chasing them, simply stay steady and unaffected. Your calmness will speak volumes more than any desperate reaction ever could. 3. They're dealing with their own struggles. Sometimes people stop reaching out because they're dealing with their own personal struggles. They could be facing stress, anxiety, depression, or any number of other emotional challenges. In times of emotional turmoil, some people choose to withdraw from others. It's their way of coping. Unfortunately, this often leads to misunderstandings, and those who are being ignored might feel rejected, confused, or hurt. In this case, the key to handling the situation is empathy. You might not know exactly what they're going through, but recognizing that their silence may have little to do with you personally can make all the difference. Stoic philosophy teaches us to be compassionate, but also to detach emotionally when needed. Don't internalize their withdrawal as a reflection of your worth. It's about them, not you. Remember, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When people distance themselves because of their own issues, don't take it as an affront. Practice patience and give them the space they need. If the relationship is worth maintaining, they will come back when they are ready. But for now, focus on your own well-being and don't let their struggles become your own. 4. They feel intimidated or insecure. Another reason someone might suddenly ignore you is because they feel intimidated or insecure around you. This might happen if you've achieved something significant or if you're excelling in a way that makes them feel inferior. Whether it's professional success, personal growth, or confidence in your abilities, some people may start to distance themselves because your progress makes them uncomfortable. Here's the thing: people's insecurities aren't your responsibility. If someone is intimidated by your growth or success, that's something they need to work through themselves. Your journey is your own, and you should never feel the need to shrink back just to make others feel better. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own path without worrying about how others perceive us. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Associate with those who make you better." So, if someone starts ignoring you because they feel insecure, don't take it personally. Instead, surround yourself with people who are inspired by your success, not threatened by it. Their insecurities are their problem, not yours. Stay true to who you are and let them handle their emotions. Your personal growth should never be stifled to make someone else more comfortable. 5. You've set boundaries and they don't like it. Lastly, people might start ignoring you because you've set boundaries and they don't like it. Boundaries are essential for maintaining healthy relationships, but unfortunately, not everyone respects them. Whether you've stopped tolerating toxic behavior, stopped being a people pleaser, or started asserting yourself in a way you didn't before, setting boundaries can be uncomfortable for some people. And when others feel like they've lost the ability to manipulate or control you, they might pull away entirely. This can be especially difficult if the person is someone close to you, like a friend or family member. It can feel like a betrayal, especially if they don't understand why you're setting these boundaries in the first place. But here's the Stoic lesson: never sacrifice your peace and self-respect for anyone. Boundaries are necessary for maintaining your emotional well-being, and if someone doesn't respect those boundaries, they're not someone you need in your life. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the same way, your peace comes not from other people's approval, but from your ability to control what you allow into your life. If someone doesn't respect your boundaries, let them go. You'll be better off for it. So, as we've discussed, when people start ignoring you, it's important to recognize the underlying reasons. Sometimes it's not personal. Sometimes it's not even about you at all. By understanding the Stoic principles of emotional control, empathy, and self-respect, you can handle these situations with grace and strength. Instead of chasing after approval or getting stuck in frustration, focus on what you can control: your reactions. People may come and go, but your inner peace is yours to protect. If you're ever in doubt, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So, the next time someone starts ignoring you, take a step back, evaluate the situation, and choose to respond like a Stoic, calm, collected, and unaffected by external drama. How to handle being ignored like a Stoic. Alright, let's talk about what to do when you're suddenly ignored. It happens to all of us, and it can be painful. But here's the good news: you don't have to react the way most people do. You don't have to spiral into frustration or anger. You can handle the situation like a Stoic, calm, composed, and powerful. So how do you do that? Let's break it down. Step 1. Shift your perspective. The first thing you need to do when someone ignores you is shift your perspective. Instead of seeing their behavior as a personal attack, try to look at it as redirection. What do I mean by that? Let's be honest. Life is constantly shifting. Sometimes people come into our lives for a season, and other times they leave when their season is over. It's not always about you. It's just life. If someone starts ignoring you, rather than thinking you've done something wrong, think of it as a nudge towards something or someone better. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." This couldn't be truer. If you let your mind go into panic mode and think, "Why are they ignoring me? What did I do?" you're letting the situation control your emotions. Instead, focus on what you can control, your thoughts. Think of this situation as an opportunity to grow. If they're ignoring you, maybe it's because you're on a different path now. You're evolving, and sometimes not everyone will stay with you along the way. And that's okay. Step 2. Control your emotional response. This might be the hardest part. Controlling your emotional response. When someone ignores you, it stings. It's natural to feel hurt or confused. But here's where the Stoic mindset can help you tremendously. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. You have complete control over how you react. And this is where your true strength lies. When someone ignores you, resist the urge to immediately reach out or chase after them. Don't beg for attention. That will only make things worse. Instead, remain calm. Be indifferent, not in a cold way, but in a way that shows you value your own peace and self-respect. Think of it like this. When you chase after someone who's ignoring you, you're letting their behavior dictate your emotions. But a Stoic would say, "No one should have that kind of power over me." Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that when people start ignoring you, don't lose your peace. Stay composed. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you desperate. Your inner peace is too valuable. Step 3. Self-reflect without self-blame. Now, this part is crucial. Self-reflection is key when dealing with someone who's pulling away from you. But the important thing is to self-reflect without immediately blaming yourself. Ask yourself, did I do something to push them away? If yes, think about it, learn from it, and move forward. Sometimes we unintentionally hurt people, and it's important to acknowledge that. But don't fall into the trap of assuming that everything is your fault. But if you can't pinpoint anything you did wrong, then don't take their behavior personally. It's important to realize that people's actions are often more about them than they are about you. Think about it this way. Some people are going through things in their own lives that you don't know about. They might be distancing themselves because of their own struggles, their emotional baggage, their stress, or maybe even jealousy. It's not about you. It's about them. The Stoic mindset teaches us that we can't control the actions of others, but we can control how we view those actions. So, don't get lost in self-blame. Instead, focus on the present moment and what you can do to move forward, grow, and stay true to yourself. Step 4. Redirect your energy. One of the best things you can do when someone ignores you is to redirect your energy. When people start pulling away, it's a perfect opportunity to focus your attention back on yourself. This is your time to get back to your goals, your passions, and your personal growth. Sometimes, when we're too focused on others, we lose sight of what's important to us. We invest so much emotional energy in people who don't appreciate it. But when they pull away, it's like a sign that it's time to invest that energy into yourself again. Remember, your happiness, your peace, and your growth are your responsibility. So use this time to do what makes you better. Pick up that new hobby you've been putting off. Dive deeper into your work, your fitness routine, or even your personal development. Focus on building a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said, "Associate with those who make you better. Instead of wasting time wondering why someone is ignoring you, focus on being the best version of yourself. The right people, people who will appreciate your energy and effort, will be drawn to you." Step 5. Embrace solitude and grow stronger. Finally, this might sound counterintuitive, but embrace solitude. When people ignore you, it can be tempting to feel lonely or abandoned. But as a Stoic, we understand that solitude is not the same as loneliness. Embrace this moment of solitude to reconnect with yourself. Use this time to reflect, recharge, and come back stronger. Solitude is often where the greatest personal growth happens. When you're not constantly distracted by others, you can focus more deeply on your own journey. Think about the Stoic philosophers themselves. Many of them lived in isolation or faced moments of solitude that allowed them to do their deepest work. They didn't let being alone make them feel inferior. Instead, they saw it as an opportunity to develop resilience and strengthen their mental clarity. In moments of solitude, you can also do a deeper examination of your life. Ask yourself the hard questions. Are there areas in your life where you're not being true to yourself? Are there goals you've neglected? This is your chance to confront those questions, make adjustments, and come back even stronger. At the end of the day, the key to handling being ignored is to become the person who doesn't need to seek external validation. Be the person who is comfortable in their own skin, who knows their worth without needing constant affirmation from others. You see, when you embrace Stoic wisdom, you learn to detach your worth from the approval of others. You know that whether someone acknowledges you or not, it doesn't change who you are. You are enough on your own. So, when people start ignoring you, let it be a lesson. Don't react with anger or frustration. Instead, rise above it. Focus on your own growth. Redirect your energy into meaningful pursuits, and embrace the solitude that allows you to grow stronger. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. That means no matter how others treat you, you control how you respond. You're the one who gets to decide how this situation affects your life. And that, my friends, is where true power lies. So, now that you understand how to handle being ignored with Stoic wisdom, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced being ignored? How did you handle it? Leave a comment below and share your story. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Stoic insights that will help you live a stronger, more resilient life. Thanks for watching, and remember, your peace is in your hands.